I know, but
That's okay.
no,
I
and then
think I can make it.
something on the back of your pants leg. You have something on the back.
Yeah. This,
Why would you do that?
Or room.
Yes.
Lord,
I'm good, good. How you doing?
great. Happy to be back home.
Oh no.
They was trying to drown me or trying to keep me. Maybe that's what it was, Aisha. They was trying to keep me
say,
down
all
there,
right, well, so what?
keep
What do we
from
do?
coming back to y'all.
We had earthquakes.
I was here. I was here Thursday and Friday.
What's up, Em? How you doing? Gordon, how are you?
I'm good.
Good, good.
Like,
Yes, perfect.
you know what? It's
No, I long since figured out that, we don't do business with the cheapest.
okay.
Amazing voice. We want to make sure.
Oh yeah, right. So about right there, you think that's okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And just try to speak into it.
No, you were like hitting the close button. I saw you, man. You were like, yeah.
I gotta call you about the church. We'll talk about the church.
Hey, Chris. So the guy. So the guy we only wanted to do, there was an issue with this house being halfway on two parcels and this and that. So yeah, and Mindy was gonna reach out to him. Call you out and said, no. So I just told him to call you. So what was his name? Braulio Aguilar. Braulio.
Don't forget to speak in the mic.
VIP, man.
Anybody watch House of Cards? Call to order the council meeting of July 16th, 2019. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you?
A quorum is present for City Council, Successor Agency, Housing Authority, Finance Authority, Parking Authority, and Joint Powers Authority.
Thank you. Any persons wishing to address the council or any of the other agencies on any item of today's agenda other than the public hearing may do so at this time. Hearing no comment. Oh, please.
Hi, my name's Tiffany Wallace, and I'm here to talk about the ordinance and a few other things that are also listed on the agenda. I don't know if this is the time we're going to talk about it.
Hold on one second, Ms. Wallace. I just want to make sure. You said the ordinance. Which ordinance are you referring to?
Well, both of them, actually. The Housing Protection Initiative.
I don't think that's on today's agenda.
Okay, so then
So you have to come back at the end. There will be a minute at the end.
All right, then I'm going to talk about the Section 8 Housing and CDBG Department. That is on today's agenda, PH-1.
Actually, that's a public hearing and it's been continued.
So we aren't going to be able to have any public comment based on those issues?
No. At the end, you can.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Wallace. With that, we'll close public comment. Item 1, CSA 1 and H1.
Warrant Registry.
Move allow payment?
Madam Clerk.
City Council, Successor Agency, and Housing Authority members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Butts.
Aye, and PH1 has been continued. Do we have a continuance date? To July 30th. Consent calendar, items 2 through 6.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. DR1.
Staff report recommending adoption of the Inglewood First Last Mile Plan.
Could we have a presentation?
Yes,
Mr.
City Engineer
Buglisi?
Peter Puglisi will give a staff report.
Mr. Buglisi? Welcome, sir. I'm the only one that can pronounce that, all right?
All right. Good afternoon. Oh, can you hear me? There we go.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. I'm here to present the City of Inglewood's First Last Mile Plan, which was a joint effort between Metro and the city. As part of the Crenshaw LAX light rail project, Metro and the city entered into an agreement that required the city to invest $6 million by 2022 on the first last mile improvements that serve the city's light rail stations. It is this agreement that prompted the development of the First Last Mile Plan, which covers 3 stations along the Crenshaw LAX line, which includes Fairview Heights, downtown Inglewood, and the Westchester Veteran Station, and 1 station along the Green Line Station, which is the Crenshaw Station. The purpose of the First Last Mile Plan is to list potential improvements the city could choose to promote and improve walking and biking access to each of the light rail stations. This includes walking and biking pathways, street, sidewalk, and other infrastructure improvements, crosswalk improvements, enhanced street and pedestrian lighting, visual enhancements such as street trees, landscaping, and public art. Additionally, as the plan was being created, 4 community workshops were also held to engage residents for recommendations and to support the plan. And lastly, I just wanted to bring to your attention that the Metro Board approved this plan as well back earlier this year.
That's great. Do me a favor. Would you just give the people that attend the meeting and that will watch it an understanding of what last mile means in the context of our light rail stations? Because ordinarily, the metro lines, they run along the cheapest right-of-way, which was the old Santa Fe Pacific Railroad lines. And if anybody knows anything about freight trains, they don't go anywhere you want to go. So this is what the last mile plan's about. So please, enlighten people as to how this is going to get people to where they want to go after they get off, say, at Florence and Market Street on the Green Line.
Yes, so the intention is to improve the infrastructure around each station. The boundaries of the plan included a half-mile walking distance around each station and a 3-mile radius for bikes. So the idea is to improve, the public streets and the right-of-way to get people to get to the stations, and then obviously if the station is your destination, so then once they leave the station,
They have to wait to get somewhere.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you very much. Any council questions? All right.
Move adoption.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Councilmembers Dodson,
Aye.
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 Aye. 01.
staff report recommending the introduction and adoption of a moratorium on self-storage facilities.
Motion to waive further reading.
Second.
I introduce.
Wait,
Let's
wait,
vote on the motion.
Madam Clerk, on the motion to waive further reading.
Councilmembers Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
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 Mayor Buds,
Aye. I believe Councilman Franklin wanted to introduce.
And I move adoption of the emergency ordinance. Second.
Madam Clerk.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the second.
I moved adoption of the.
Okay, so I'll second
emergency.
Franklin.
Thank you.
And then Councilman Morales
Got it.
adopted, and
George
Council-
seconded.
Councilmembers Dodson,
Aye.
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 Mayor Buds.
aye. SPH 1.
Staff report requesting a public hearing to be set section of assessments for the Morningside Park Maintenance Assessment District Number 1974-2.
Move adoption. Move 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Dodson,
Aye.
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 Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call SPH 2, 3, and 4 together.
Okay.
And they all have similar language, but whoever makes the motion is making it for 2, 3, and 4.
Gotcha.
All right.
1,
Thank
2, and 3.
Well, no, we did 1.
No, meaning the items.
Absolutely. Okay, Madam Clerk, yes.
Thank you.
We
Yes,
got it.
Mayor.
Staff report requesting that a public hearing be set to initiate levy and collection of assessments for the in-town maintenance assessment district 1975-1. Staff-
Wait, hold on, George. Go ahead.
All.
No, you could just do them all. And
And I was going to do 3. Oh, so
Yes.
you don't want me to read all 3?
I
of
do
them?
want you to read all 3.
Okay.
See, George was premature. You were right. Go ahead.
Okay. Staff report requesting that a public hearing be set to initiate the proceedings for the annual levy and collection of the assessment for the Inglewood Street Lighting Assessment District Number 1980-1. And SPH 4 is staff report requesting that a public hearing be set to initiate proceedings for the annual levy and collection of assessments for Darby Dixon Maintenance Assessment.
I
So
move
as-
items 1, 2, and 3 for SPH 2, 3, and 4.
And
As to SPH 2, 1, 2, 3, SPH 3, 1, 2, 3, and SPH 4, 1, 2, 3.
and that was what Councilman,
Franklin, and I'll second.
Gotcha, I got it.
Madam Clerk.
Council members, Dodson.
Aye.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. A1,
Thank you, Mayor. No oral reports.
CM1,
Thank you, Mayor. There are no oral reports from the city manager's office.
DC1,
No reports, thank you, Mayor.
City Treasurer is not present, CSA2,
Approval of the minutes for the successor agency meeting held on June 11th and June 18th, 2019.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Successor agency members, Dodson.
Aye.
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 Butts.
Aye. H2,
Approval of the minutes for the Housing Authority meeting held on June 11th, 2019.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Housing Authority members, Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Butts,
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Chairman Buds.
Aye. F1,
Approval of the minutes for the Finance Authority meeting held on June 11th and June 18th.
Move approval.
Second.
Hold on one second. Did we do F1 already, or we did not?
I'm sorry,
You just called F1. We didn't vote on that just now? Okay. Madam Clerk?
F1, we're on.
Okay, Madam Clerk?
Council
A member.
members.
Morales,
Oh, yeah,
Hold
okay,
on, hold
thank
on,
you.
hold on.
Finance Authority members, Dodson.
Aye.
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 Aye. P1,
Approval of the minutes for the Parking Authority meeting held on June 11th, 2019.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Parking Authority members, Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
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 Aye. JPA1,
Approval of the minutes for the Joint Powers Authority meeting held on June 11th, 2019.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Dodson.
Aye.
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 Franklin.
Aye.
Aye. Appointments to boards, commissions, and other committees. We have three. Eli Morales nominates, and I appoint Ernesto Castillo to the Advisory Committee for the Renaming of Public Facilities.
Move concurrence.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Aye.
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 Aye. Councilman Dotson nominates, and I appoint William Bill West to the Advisory Committee for the Naming of Facilities.
Current.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Aye.
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 Butts.
Aye. Councilman Padilla nominates, and I appoint Christopher Kip Rudd to the Advisory Committee for the Naming of Facilities.
I concur.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members, Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Public comments, 1 minute. Any person who wishes to address City Council, any matter connected with city business not elsewhere considered may do so at this time. 1 minute.
All right, I'm back. So I'm here to talk about, I guess, what's the new article in the Housing Protection Initiative, at least to start with that. So a few things. One of the things is the appointed rental board or the appointed board regarding housing. And I want to say that it needs to be an elected position, not something that's appointed. I understand that it's hard to deal with a lot of these issues hundreds of people came on June the 11th to talk about housing, but we need someone that the actual community of Inglewood decides to put in these positions, not people who are just coming directly from your positions as city councils and elected officials. So it has to come directly from the people. It has to be someone that's elected from them. In addition to that, the housing authority and information, it wasn't really given that was public. I understand that it was posted in the library, but that notice actually needs to be sent to people, mailed to people, because not just the participating folks who are there,
Ms. Wallace.
but people who are involved who may be in danger of losing their homes
We're
for
at
Section
time.
8.
We're at time. Thank you.
Council. I actually came to request the same thing for the city council to take into consideration having an elected board with at least one member from each district, one renter from each district. I think a couple of weeks ago, when you spoke, I think it was proposed that it would be 5 members, 2 renters, 2 owners. And I don't remember everything verbatim, but I wanted to propose at least one renter from each district.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Mayor, City Council, and staff. Following behind the two ladies, I'd be for this suggestion on an elected basis, but I say first put it to the people, on a ballot initiative. Do they want to have it in an elected status? That way, the people will show whether or not they want that. Because in the end, we are creating another level of bureaucracy. So let's do it right. And I said, let's hit the sweet spot and get it right the first time. Otherwise, it never ends. Thank you.
My name is Willie A.G., and I live in the beautiful city of Inglewood and proud of it. We have 5 elected officials on the dais. As far as I'm concerned, as a 54-year resident of Inglewood, I look to you people to make the decisions about this city. We don't need any more bureaucrats up there making stupid, crazy ideas. We're doing all right in this city. It's a beautiful day in the city of Inglewood. Everybody's happy. You can't hardly find a restaurant open to get into. Everybody is busy because of you guys up there and staff. Keep up the good work and ignore these naysayers. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I would also like to recommend that the members of the Housing Board be elected. Therefore, it would better represent the people of Inglewood. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor, elected officials, and staff. I have an interesting point and observation that at the New Orleans, York, there's the old Payless shoe site across from New Orleans, New York. It's been abandoned and looking like an eyesore for years. Do we have a plan to fix this up at least by the time the train starts running through there? Because it's an eyesore, and they have homeless people that live there sometimes. And I would just like to see as something aesthetically pleasing to the city for the people that come through, not to have that there. And also, it's a good way to advertise for New Orleans and New York to have people that come down the train to see that business and patronize it. Those are my observations. Thank you, and everybody have a beautiful week.
Thank you for your observations.
Yeah, your God is right, AG. Mayor, council, Gordon. I go around these construction sites and I see very few minorities. Now, this is how I got in, by the man helping me get in.
Mr. Burke, could I ask you something?
Huh?
Mr. Burke, could I ask you something? Could I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, so the stadium site is secured off. You can't walk into it. So how would you know how many minorities are working on the stadium project?
Now, translate. Who that?
You said you go to the construction sites and you don't see minorities.
Oh, I don't have nothing to do but sit around and look, watch them when they come to work.
So you sit out on Prairie and watch them drive in?
Well, I watch Perry Easy from the house.
Oh,
Okay, that's one.
well, okay. Don't you live
These
in?
two jobs
Don't
over
you
here-
live in Morningside Park?
Huh?
Don't you live in Morningside Park?
Translate.
Don't you live in Morningside Park?
I live right over there, off of 81st Street.
Exactly. So how do you see people driving to the stadium from 81st Street?
Translate again.
No, I'm not going to let it go.
My ears is not.
Okay, I get that. So how do you see them drive in to the work site from 81st and West?
I don't have nothing else to do.
Okay. Okay, all right. I got it.
SSS,
I got it. Okay.
Curtis Wright,
Okay, I got it, Mr. Burke.
IBEW. I got 4 different
Okay.
retirements. And I see these jobs coming on. I have nothing against the Spanish now. Don't get me wrong. But here they come in a drove.
Yeah.
I like you, Morales, but here they come in a drove. And the few blacks they got out there walking. And the few blacks they got out there walking with their head down. I said, well, what's wrong with you?
Okay, Mr. Bird, thank you.
Can you
Mr.
help
Burt,
me
Mr.
get my grandson? I don't care if you don't help nobody else.
Mr. Bird, thank you, sir.
Huh?
Thank you very much.
Are you saying my time is up?
Yes, it is.
You took up part.
No, I had him stop the clock while I asked you.
Okay, then I'll bring it back next week.
You bring it back next
Put
week.
it on the agenda.
All right. Okay, so for the record, you guys, the work site is secured. The employees enter off of Arborvitae and Prairie. Mr. Burt lives at 81st and West, so I don't know how he could possibly see them come into work. All right, that's it. And there are 1,200 Inglewood residents out of 3,000 that are employed there. They go to work there every day. Of various colors and sizes and shapes.
Right.
All right.
Mayor and Council, I just wanted to respond to the Payless. There's a gentleman that lives in Ladera Heights, and we've been working with him for over a year or two. He's elderly, lives alone, so we went over to his house to check on the property. Unfortunately, it's private property, so we can't do any much, and he doesn't want to sell right now. So we're working on that, okay? So we know the homeless.
Thank you, Ms. Eller. Okay, with that, we'll have one more public comment.
Hi. So I'm new to Inglewood from Northern California.
Oh, welcome.
And I first love the city. But I noticed that there's a theater, an abandoned theater, and it breaks my heart because I'm young still. I like to think I'm still young. And I'm full of hope. I'm working at a job that doesn't recognize my talents, and my talents are just limitless.
I have the same problem. Go.
And so you're not going to take up my time. No. I would very much love the opportunity to meet with the residents and you about refurnishing that theater because they could provide so many opportunities. I'm going to cry because I really want an opportunity. And yeah.
Okay.
And I have this. This is just a sample of my work. It's open to the public, to you. Just consider it.
You can give it to the sergeant at arms behind you. Thank you. What's your name? Thank you, Jessica. Okay, with that, we'll close public comment. Any council comments, Councilman Dodson?
I couldn't wait. First of all, good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out. I'd like to thank everyone who came out to the block club captains and residents committee meeting this past Wednesday. I would especially like to thank my liaison, Gwendolyn Goodman, Chris Roberts from the Roberts Group, Barry Griffith from RSI program, Jerry Tucker for code enforcement, Harry Frisbee and Flint Marine for Public Works from Public Works, Inglewood Police Department, Captain Ridds and Sergeant Meeks, their canine Frank and his handler, and lastly, the Inglewood Emergency Preparedness members Chris McGlover and Amber Haley, who put on a great demonstration. You should try and make the next one, which will be in September. We always try to make these meetings interesting, and we get the actual subject from the last meeting. The neighbors tell us what they want to hear or what they want information on, and we structure our meeting around those suggestions. So if you're interested in one particular thing, you can email me, and I'll see that you get your particular problem or information that you need on the program. I also would not, well, I have to do this because without this person, a lot of this stuff would never be possible. So I need to thank my assistant, Alicia Smith, for taking care a lot of this on her own. It's very rare when you get someone who can work with you and still make you look good. So my hat's off to her, and I thank her for helping me get through this whole process.
And presenting the award.
Well, that's coming next. So thanks, everybody, for coming out. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.
Councilman Padilla, District 2.
Great, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, Alicia does a great job. So the Rotary Club, I want to just congratulate David Thomas. He's the new incoming president of the Rotarians here in Inglewood. And I want to thank Robert Ryans for his past year of service as a Rotarian. I just want to remind everybody that this coming Saturday, I'm doing a food drive at the District 2 Community Center from noon to 5. Please come out and help us collect some food for the LAX Pantry, which is located, the LAX Pantry is actually located here in Inglewood on Beach Boulevard. So if you can come out and help us, we'd really appreciate it. If you want to drop stuff off earlier, you can drop it off at the District 2 Community Center. It's open from 11 to 8, Monday through Friday. So please come out and help us support our homeless and folks that are in need. I want to thank some of our sponsors for this event, which is the Chamber of Commerce with Eric Hawley, the Lions Club, the Rotarians, Public Services, 7-Eleven, SGS Earthquake Safety Valve Company, and Fiesta Martin for their generous help in putting this event together. So hope to see you Saturday. We'll be there from 12 to 5. Come on by, drop off some stuff, and visit and stay a while. With that, enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week.
Thank you. Councilman Franklin, District 4.
Thank you, Mayor. I personally want to thank the Senator Steve Bradford, our representative, who provided all of the residents in his district, at least in Inglewood, legislative accomplishments for 2019. And he gives a number of the bills that he co-authored or was part of making it happen that focused on environmental justice, affordable housing, criminal justice reforms, affordable health care, and especially for the seniors. It's great to know that we have our legislators that is homegrown, that is up there in Sacramento, that is fighting for a cause of our quality of life. I also want to acknowledge that I attended the Independent Cities Association 59th Annual Summer Seminar in San Diego area, and I want to acknowledge that in that meeting, several key items have been addressed, and one of those sensitive ones is the U.S. Census count. For those that did the U.S. Census count in 2010, we as a city felt that we didn't get our fair share because everyone is to count, including children. And if they don't, then our federal dollars are reduced based upon the population as we qualify under the low, very low income category. It affects your health, it affects transportation, it affects education, it affects housing, and affects a number of park and recreational activities, including when you talk about streets not being paved and sidewalks not being done. Did you participate in U.S. Census? This time it's going to be from March through July of 2020, and please make sure that everyone in your household gets counted. We also had a session regarding addressing residential concerns on homelessness, and it is not a city issue, it's not a state issue, it is a worldwide issue. And we need to work on doing our part, and they provided us some avenues to pursue that. We also had the California State Senator Anthony Partantino, who is the chair of the Appropriations Committee, that was addressing a number of issues that some people don't take for granted, but SB 50 is a item out there that's putting pressure on the cities of Inglewood, as an example, where they're trying to take away local control for our housing and our other components that we have here. Also, he was the person that fought heavily on SB 5 for us trying to keep the redevelopment agency as well. So that was good information. And then finally, I want to acknowledge that one of the presenters talked about economic development. We hear a lot about the city of Inglewood and how we're doing this and doing that, but it doesn't just happen. And with our economic director, Chris Jackson, and Mr. Fields, our city manager, that it's critical that they understand that the state of California is mandating us on coming up with different policies as well as criteria on reducing the carbon footprint, as well as making sure that we increase production and adding higher density supplied near transit, which is what we're right on course for. So it was a great session, and I just thank the opportunity to be able to attend. That'll be all, Mayor.
Thank you. That was a serious green discussion. Councilman Morales,
Thank
District
you.
3.
And, you know, it's nice to know that we've become a city that we can start to really look at those things instead of just kind of searching for development. So thank you for that. I don't have much. I just wanted to say that I've received a number of phone calls thanking us for the lunch program at our local parks. I know that there's a great number of kids that show up to my parks and enjoy the free lunch. They asked me to thank staff, so Sabrina Barnes and all her staff, thank you very much. I don't know when that ends, but I think it goes through for another few weeks. Am I right? August 16th it ends. And the second item, I just wanted to congratulate Dr. Melendez, our state trustee from the Inglewood Unified School District, who has decided to retire in October. I want to say that her input and kind of dedication in these short 2 years have shed light on where we are as a school district and set the right tone to move forward. So whoever it is that steps right into it, you know, we've got a head start. So I wanted to congratulate her for that. And that's all I got, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to say a couple of things. First, on the issue of an elected rental board. That's all we need is 5 more elections in this city. You elect the council to make decisions. Adding another elected bureaucracy is only an attempt, in my estimation, by people that don't like the direction of the city to say, here's another chance to do something different. You elect 5 people to make decisions, and I believe that we've made decisions in the best interest of the community as a whole. When you think about it, the Uplift attempted to qualify an initiative for the ballot for rent control. They didn't get the signatures they needed. Proposition 10 failed in the state of California. I was elected overwhelmingly in a landslide, and there was no pressure on the council to do anything with housing protection or rent control. But we did the moral thing, and we're reconsidering what we've already established. So to say that we should institute another elected bureaucracy, to me, makes no sense. So that's my feelings on it. The only time that people talk about earthquakes is when we've had one. And now everybody's talking about earthquakes. And everybody's living in California knows every 10 years or so we have an earthquake and an aftershock. And we quickly forget what we learned the last time, and I'm hoping this time we don't do that. Brian Walker, Amber Haley, Emery Ward, Crystal McGlover, Jasmine, that work in our city security and emergency preparedness unit, they do an outstanding job for us, and they have been much in demand, and I want to tell all of them that we thoroughly appreciate you and your service. And with that, we're adjourned. Thank you.